Hey everyone, Autism Father here. How are you doing? I thought today, instead of doing a build, we would go out exploring. There's a couple of biomes I have not found yet that I would like to find, and I'm going to go out on a search today to see if I can find one. I'm going to break this and bring it with me. I have not yet found a swamp biome or a mushroom biome. Mushroom biomes have that mycelium stuff. It looks like purple jelly instead of grass, and it makes it very. Oh, I think I'll wait for you to burn. It makes it very easy to grow mushrooms, especially the very large mushrooms. Wow, you are just not going to die. There we go. And swamps have lily pads, which are mostly annoying when you're using a boat, but are very convenient for when you want to walk on water. So I'd just like to have some. Now, I've been this way as far as a forest. That's where I got my cows and my chickens. A little bit of cave exploring there too. But I've never gone beyond the forest. I don't know what's on the other side. So we're going to do that today. I think we'll be able to do that before the sun sets, but I brought my bed just in case. There's a very good chance that whatever's on the other side of that forest is not what I'm looking for. There's so many biomes. We're in the plains right now. There's a zombie spawner down there I have not done anything with, but I marked it. Yeah, so there are desert biomes, plains biomes, extreme hills biomes. My base lies pretty much on the border between... It's on the plains biome, but right behind it there's a ravine, and then on the other side of the ravine starts the extreme hills. Makes it very good for finding caves down below. There's a lot of ores and minerals and things of that nature. Here we go. Trees. That's a huge tree over there. But not, yeah, today's going to be a bit of exploration. I'm looking for things. I'm not necessarily building anything. And that gives me the opportunity to talk a little bit. I mean, I talk when I'm building something, but I talk about what I'm building and how it works. Describe, kind of a tutorial style, why things are the way they are. But when I'm walking, more planes, look at that. While I'm walking, I can discuss other things. For example, my name, Autism Father. I adopted that name. Whoa! I adopted that name shortly after my first son was born. He was diagnosed with autism at 2.5. I shortly after started a blog called Autism from a Father's Point of View, because most blogs about children in general and any topic involving children are usually done by the mom. Even parenting blogs, there's a few dad blogs, but most of them are the moms. So I wanted to give people a different point of view. I have to remember to eat. There's been a few more that have joined me since. We actually even have a Facebook group where a bunch of us get together in the dad cave. And we discuss things without judgment or emotion or any of that sort of thing. We can share silly things and funny things and stuff like that. We don't get all emotional on each other, and we don't have people judging us. It's not to say that women do, moms do, but when you're out in the public eye, when you have thousands of people, you're going to find somebody that will judge you for just about anything you do. And when it's just us dads in a little group, we can avoid that sort of thing, and we don't really bug each other. That's my alarm. All right. I need to get over this monstrosity of a weird bump in the ground. Since then, my blog has done rather well. It doesn't make me any money or anything, but it's got a few visitors that frequently read, and they support me, and it's not that it hasn't gained me anything. When the iPad was recognized as a really great source as a learning tool for children with autism, I put a donation link and asked that my readers help me out because I could not buy one myself, and it took only a month. It took less than a month, actually, just under a month, to get the $400 necessary to go walk into the store and pick up an iPad. And I am very grateful for that, as is my son. Although he doesn't know where the money came from exactly, he knows that I didn't have it and people gave it to me. And I felt it's important that he knows that, because he needs to know about generosity. Not necessarily that it came from the blog or anything, but that, people were nice enough that they wanted to help him to get something that he needed, and they did. It's been quite an interesting journey. He's 7.5 now. He's almost 8. He'll be 8 in July. And he's doing quite well. He's attending a good school with it's a mixed school. It's your general average elementary school, but it has some classes that are dedicated specifically to children with autism. So he's he's learning alongside his own peers, but also he's mixed in with your regular everyday ordinary school type life, and that benefits not just him but also the other children, because they get to interact and grow up basically with children with autism, so that when they become adults they won't look at people that are different in any sort of way as somebody that's just strange or bizarre, somebody to avoid. They'll recognize it as something that has been part of their lives for most of their childhood. And we have hit something other than forest and plains finally. So if you are not aware, if you were watching this, you'd never even heard of autism, or you've heard of autism but you have no idea what it is, the thing to take away most is that it affects everybody differently. So I could tell you right now a whole bunch of the key features of what makes an autistic person autistic, but there's a good chance that the first autistic person you meet won't match very many of those criteria. And that's only because every single person is different. I heard a skeleton. Oh, there's a cave underneath. That would be why. Hello. It's quite the cave. All right. I'm not here to go caving. I'm looking for swamps and ocean. I don't want an ocean. So yeah, but the majority, the most common thing you would find if you were to meet somebody, say at work or at school or just in life, is that autistic people have difficulty with socialization, being social. I've hit the end of the road. I could make myself a boat and start going, but I'd have no idea how far this is going to go. And that would be very boring indeed. So socialization, knowing what to say, when and where, being interested in saying anything at all, even. These are the people, like if you went to school and you saw somebody that just sat there rather than get up and socialize at a social event, like, the prom or something. They just had no interest in dancing. They had no interest in, joking and having fun with everybody else. It may just be that, they're not just shy. It may be autism that is holding them back, and they might not even be diagnosed. They might not know what it is. They themselves may think they're just shy, and that's the most common that affects people with Asperger's or any form of autism. There's actually a few different forms. But from there, it gets more extreme. There can be people that have extreme cases of anxiety. There could be people that are unable to speak at all, not just because they're, social awkwardness, but because they just lack the capability of speech. It doesn't mean that they are dumb in any way. It just means that for whatever reason, their body just cannot form the words. They likely could. There's been several cases where, as I mentioned, the iPad ended up being a breakthrough device where these people that are unable to speak all of a sudden pick up an iPad and they complete full sentences using either pictures or just typing things out. I really don't want to drop that far. That is a huge cave. Look at that. That is monstrously huge. It goes under the desert, it goes over there. So if you see somebody that's being really shy or just not speaking, they just have nothing to say, it seems. Maybe they do. Maybe they just don't know how to say it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They could be too shy, they could be too nervous, they could have too much anxiety, or they just may be incapable entirely and really wish that they could. We are going to have a sleep under the stars. Good night. And we're back. Daytime. All right. Give me this back. Again, it does get even more severe than that. There are many co-symptoms that come along with autism. For example, sensory processing disorder. It's a disorder in its own right, but many people that have autism also share this secondary disorder, and they're often not even diagnosed with sensory processing disorder. It's just accepted that they can't handle certain sensory input. That's a funny place for stone. I'll take this. So loud noises and bright lights, especially altering frequencies in sound, like if something was fluttering out of a speaker or if lights were flickering, and it goes even further into taste and touch and things like that. Like, they might not be able to eat certain foods because it just feels really painful, even it's just so gross it's painful kind of thing. And then touch too, you might see somebody with autism that is very uncomfortable in their own clothes, and that's because it literally hurts. It's, for whatever reason, if it's a tag or a seam or, it may just be the cotton or the wool or poly. It's just, for whatever reason, feeling it is a painful experience. Look at that. Look at what's rendering just over here. So not being able to eat certain things or wear certain things or hear or see certain things, yes, cow, may all be a result of their autism. Hello. Ooh, paper for emeralds. I should come back to see you one day. That's a very good trade. Although 35 paper. What did you guys do? That is the strangest place for a cave. Also, I'm telling you this because it's important to know. That's not what I wanted at all. It's important to know because when you see a child, usually a child, it could also be an adult, in say a grocery store or at the mall or just hereabouts in public doing what everybody else does, and suddenly they seemingly freak out. They're just having a complete and total meltdown. It looks like they're just being a bratty kid is what it looks like. But they've totally lost it on their parents, and their parents are struggling to get their child back under control. There's a very good chance that what is actually happening is related to sensory processing. Wow. Yeah, you got lag on your side, buddy. So, if you're at a grocery store and you can smell the produce and the meat and other people even, especially at Walmart, no offense, Walmart, but then you also have the flickering lights, the fluorescent lights, you have people talking all around you, you have just a million and one things going on all at the same time everywhere. Where did you guys come from? It can be so extremely overwhelming, even for the best of us, really. I mean, how many times have you gone to the grocery store and you're like, I just do not want to be here right now. I just don't have the mental faculties to be standing in line, waiting. You know what I mean? Like, and for a person with autism that has trouble processing certain sensory input like that, it really can be so much like torture, really, is what it's like. And that's the way that a sensory processing reaction can seem. It seems like they're, responding to torture. And that's because they are in pain. So when you see, a mom at a grocery store, or a dad, like me, at a grocery store and their child is seemingly out of control and you're thinking, what a terrible parent for letting this kid behave this way. Why can't this person get control of their kid? There's a good chance that what you're witnessing is, autism or maybe even some other special needs. And it's not their fault, and it's not their parents' fault. It's just, this is the way it is, and they'll be fine, and the kid's probably a great kid. They need to get out of that situation. They need to be freed, basically, from the sensory overload that they're having to deal with when they really don't want to. I said I wasn't going to go caving, and here I am, but I'm under a village. I can't help it. What? I don't know if you can see that. Like a perfect square with dirt. You see those usually in an abandoned mine shaft. Which makes me wonder, is there an abandoned mine shaft under here? Yes, I hear you. Oh, I hear you too. So yes, sensory processing disorder, lack of speech, anxiety, social awkwardness, communication impairment. These are all hallmark signs of autism. They're probably the most likely signs that you would have seen if you had met somebody with autism. Some other co-disorders that come with it include OCD and ADHD. Usually, one of the earliest signs that your child may have autism is that they, instead of playing with toys, they will line them up in straight lines or circular lines or some kind of geometrical... Oh, look at this, abandoned mineshaft. I called it. I called it. Do I really want to deal with this right now? Not sure I'm well equipped enough for an abandoned mineshaft. But they are oh so tempting. They have chests, they have rails, they have all sorts of neat things. Make me nervous, bat. Yeah, so this pick is too good. I gotta switch back to this one. Weird lighting glitch. They're also seemingly hyperactive, and they'll end up being diagnosed with ADHD or something similar, when it may actually be, well, I mean, not autism instead, but autism along with it. You above me? No. No, you sound like you're this way. Oh, Oh, spiders. Spiders make me nervous. Because it's usually cave spiders. Look at this. 1 chest, 2 chests. And cave spiders are nasty. Oh, we'll take the gold. And the redstone in the office. I hear you up there. Ooh, is there a hole? There is a hole there. Don't come down, don't come down. Wow, it's a lot of food. Oh, it is a poison spider. Didn't poison me, though. What? Oh, mama. Oh, boy. Yes, so, there it is. Really should be watching behind me too, right? Iron, coal. Am I far enough away? Yeah, they're not spawning. Alright, we can get rid of this and take this. Don't need any spider eyes, but coal is good to have. That's good. Oh, this lag. That will disable it. And also, mark the end of my torches. I think I have some more, though. Right there. Oh, I'm so totally going to get lost down here when I didn't want to go caving to begin with. So anyway, I like to play this game, but I'm also very interested in autism, for obvious reasons. And I've learned a lot about it. I've even learned, by the way, that I myself, when I noticed that my son had some of the characteristics that I've described to you, we sent him in for an assessment, and he was diagnosed, and he started getting help and all that sort of stuff. I started to recognize a lot of the signs in myself, and I started to reflect back on my own life. And to be honest, there was really no need to find out one way or another for sure, but I decided I was going to anyway, just for my own peace of mind, and sure enough, I was diagnosed with Asperger's myself. And by then I had already learned pretty much, you know, you never stop learning really, but I had learned all I really needed to learn. That I was pretty convinced that I shared the diagnosis myself. That's not the way out. That's definitely not the way out. But I figure the best thing that I can do for my son anyway, I'm already grown up, but my son growing up could use with, you know, less people judging him. If he has a meltdown at the store or at school, or, you know, even when he's older, when he's grown up and he doesn't feel like taking part of the Christmas, you know, the Christmas party, or... Oh, it must be nighttime. No, zombie, you leave my villagers alone. And I really want, like, if I could reach one person and help them to understand that it's not my son's fault, that he has autism and he likes to be social. Are you alright in there? Oh, you were the paper guy too, weren't you? Yeah, like, if you guys alright? You know, if one less person just doesn't judge him, there's one person who goes to school with him and understands that he doesn't want to dance. Whoa! Victim of lag again. Let me back up. What's going on? You know, that it's just one less awkward situation. It's just... Oh, there's another creeper. These creepers are coming out of thin air, man. Probably be one come up behind me while I'm shooting this one, right? And that's all I really want. I mean, not just for my son, but for all children that will eventually one day become adults. You never... There is no cure. It's nothing really to be cured from. There's nothing wrong with being socially awkward or anything. If you don't want to talk to people, you don't want to talk to people. Let's see if we can repair some of the damage here. Basically, it's just, you know, let people be people. Like, if somebody's freaking out because of anything, really, I mean, does it really have to be a good reason? Just let people, you know, let people be. But if you understand that, you know, that child you see that you think might be the result of bad parenting or just a brat or what have you, you know, if... Oh, you zombies. You know, you see one more person at the grocery store and their child is freaking out, and you understand that that child may be in terrible pain right now, and they're not just being a bratty kid, they're not just being spoiled, they don't just want a chocolate bar, they actually have a very good reason for behaving the way they're behaving. You know, that'll be one less glance towards the parents in a judgmental way. And, you know, if your child is suffering, you really don't need any people judging you harshly. That's just one additional thing on your plate that, I mean, nobody wants that, right? And I still can't back up. What is going on? I can't maneuver. Sorry, folks. Sorry about your garden. So yeah, that's all I ask. That's why I do this. That's why I am telling you. It's not so that you know all about autism. It's not so that, you know, I can push all this stuff on you kind of thing. It's just, you know, raise a little bit more awareness so that one less parent has to feel terrible while their child is freaking out at a grocery store, or one person that doesn't want to go to a Christmas party at work or a gathering or something. They don't have to deal with the stares, and, you know, there's people who've lost their jobs because they're just not social enough, and that's just wrong. Oh, monsters. Where are you, monsters? You know, you should never lose your job or be judged or be thought of in any sort of negative way just because you don't want to be attending these social functions that you're quite frankly very uncomfortable with. That's where you are. That's why I can't sleep. Should have known it would have been a creeper. So while I deal with all this, I have to try and find my way home after. Really? Oh man, I'm totally gonna die here. Still can't sleep, guys. Did you find me? Yeah, they found me. Alright, so I think I'll end it here. It's been a long enough adventure. So I'm going to get myself some rest, and I'm going to head myself home. I hope you have a good one. Thanks for listening.